घर में अक्सर व बेशतर चूहे आ जाते हैं। उन्हें भगाने के लिए हम
कई तरीक़े अपनाते हैं। हमने एक आसान और सस्ते तरीक़े का क़यास किया है और तजुर्बा करके इनको भगाने के लिए तहक़ीक़ का नतीजा ये निकला है कि चूहे या तो भाग जाते हैं या सुस्त हो जाते हैं।
मेथोडोलॉजी। स्कूल साइंस लैब में 3 मुख्तलिफ पिंजरे में चूहे रखे गए। चूहों के वज़न मुख्तलिफ थे जिन पर 30 मिनट तक तजुर्बा किया गया। चूहों को तागा, गेहूं का आटा, हल्दी, तेल और घी और फिटकरी पानी में मिलाकर गोली बनाकर पिंजरे में रखी गई। चूहे इसे खाने से पहले देखकर दूर हटने लगे। बास वक्त पिंजरे में मौजूद कागज़ के दरमियान चेहरा छुपा लिया। हल्दी की गोली को खाने के चंद मिनट बाद एक चूहे पर नींद तारी हो गई। ज़्यादा वज़नी चूहे ने कागज़ में अपने चेहरे को छुपा लिया, जबकि तीसरा चूहा गैर मामूली हरकत के साथ दूर तक चला गया।
कॉन्क्लूजन। तहकीक के बाद हमने ये नतीजा अखज़ किया कि हल्दी और फिटकरी के गोली से चूहों को तकलीफ़ होती है या नींद तारी होती है, इसलिए वो इसके करीब नहीं आते।
आपका कंक्लूजन क्या है? अभी एक बार दोहराते हो आप, कंक्लूजन क्या है आपका?
तहकीक के बाद हमने ये नतीजा अखज़ किया कि हल्दी और फिटकरी की गोली से चूहों को तकलीफ़ होती है या नींद तारी होती है, इसलिए वो इसके करीब नहीं आते।
इट मीन्स योर प्रोडक्ट इज अ रिपलेंट है। चूहे मरते नहीं है, भाग जाते हैं।
हाँ।
है ना? तो आपने ये खोज किया है कि वहाँ पे जो भी आपका मटेरियल यूज हो रहा है उसमें रिपलेंट एक्टिविटी कौन सा है? नहीं, which content of the material the rat will be away from your homemade जो भी आपका मेडिसिन है।
सर, हल्दी और फिटकरी।
which content बोला मैं, which content? ऐसा कौन सी उसमें चीज है ये तीनों घटक में जो आपके चूहे भाग के जा रहे हैं? तो इन फ्यूचर में उसका ही कंसंट्रेशन, हर तरफ के कंसंट्रेशन बना के आप रख दिए तो चूहे नहीं आएंगे, इंस्टेड ऑफ ऑल दी कंटेंट्स। समझ में मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? समझ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ क्या? नहीं, एज एग्जाम्पल बोलता हूँ। कैम्फर है, कैम्फर मालूम है? मेंथॉल बोलते हैं अपन उसको, है ना? मेंथॉल जहां पे रखने के बाद चूहे या मस्कीटोज या कोई भी वो रिपेलेंट होते हैं। रिपेलेंट बोल तो दे इरिटेट देयर स्मेल्स, है ना? सो यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई दी विच कंटेंट इन दी टर्मरिक, और आपने जो दूसरा जो कंटेंट बोला है ना, उसमें ऐसी कौन सी चीज है विच केमिकल इज प्रेजेंट that mosquito away from your material?
हल्दी और फिटकरी सर, उसमें
आपको केमिकल कंस्टिट्यूएंट मालूम है?
हाइड्रोप्रॉक्सिस।
हाँ, तो आपके गाइड से एक बार डिस्कस कीजिएगा और वो प्रोजेक्ट जो है वही कंटिन्यू कीजिएगा, है ना? तो नेक्स्ट ऑब्जेक्टिव आपका क्या होगा? आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ द active component present in the existing material, है ना? And that product is a repellent activity you can use in the future to control the rat. Understand मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? नहीं?
देखो, आपने जो हल्दी का इस्तेमाल किया है, फिटकरी का इस्तेमाल किया है, सर का सवाल ये है कि क्या वो चूहे हल्दी की वजह से भाग रहे हैं या फिटकरी की वजह से भाग रहे हैं?
सर,
दोनों है। तो उसका जो केमिकल कंटेंट क्या है वो सर का पूछना है आपसे कि उसमें क्या है ऐसा जो जिसकी वजह से वो भाग रहे हैं। जैसे कि मान लो एक किसी के पैर का पसीने से भरा हुआ मोजा आपके सामने रखेंगे तो आप वहाँ बैठेंगे क्या? नहीं बैठेंगे ना, क्यों? वो गंदी स्मेल आती है उसमें से, तो ऐसा ही कुछ होता होगा उसको।
सर हल्दी से उनके आंखों में चुभन महसूस होती है।
हल्दी में तो ऐसा कुछ है नहीं, वोलाटाइल ऑयल जैसा कुछ है नहीं उसमें जो चुभन आने की।
केमिकल है उसमें सर एक।
तो हम भी अब हल्दी का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, घर में फोड़ते हैं हल्दी, तो हमारे भी आंखों में ऐसी कुछ चुभन होनी चाहिए फिर?
नहीं हो सकती सर, क्योंकि चूहे के अंदर जो सेल होती है वो क्योंकि चूहे का जिस्म छोटा है।
तो आपने यहाँ पर किस साइज के चूहों का इस्तेमाल किया है एक्सपेरिमेंट के लिए? किस एज ग्रुप के चूहों का इस्तेमाल किया है यहाँ पर? क्या जितने चूहे आपने यूज किए हैं उन सबकी एज सेम थी, सबका वेट सेम था? तो फिर कैसा पता चलेगा हमको कि डिफरेंट वेट में या डिफरेंट एज ग्रुप ऑफ माउस में उसका इफेक्ट?
वेट में डिफरेंट था। 3 चूहे पर हमने साइंस लैब में 3 चूहे पर एक्सपेरिमेंट किया, जिसमें पहले चूहे का वज़न 150 था 200 ग्राम का था, और दूसरे चूहे का वज़न 400 था 500 ग्राम। यस सर। और तीसरा चूहे का तकरीबन 200 ग्राम का था सर। और सर पहले चूहे पर जो था वो इब्तिदा में दूर दूर रहा, फिर कुछ देर बाद हल्दी गोली खाने के बाद उस 2 या 3 मिनट बाद उस पर गफलत तारी होने लगी और कुछ सेकेंड बाद मुकम्मल तौर पर गाफिल हो गया। फिर सर दूसरा जो चूहा था वो भी इब्तिदा में दूर रहा, फिर कुछ देर बाद हल्दी गोली खाने के बाद वो उस तरफ देखने से कतरा रहा था और पिंजरे में मौजूद कागज़ के दरमियान चेहरा छुपा लिया और उस तरफ जानिब देख नहीं रहा था, उससे दूर दूर रह रहा था। और तीसरे चूहे भी हल्दी गोली खाने के बाद उस पर गफलत तारी होने लगी और पहले वो अधमरा नज़र आने लगा था, लेकिन फिर मामूली हरकत नज़र आ रही थी।
कोई भी नई मेडिसिन जो है ना उसका लेबोरेटरी में टेस्ट करने के लिए हम चूहों का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, ठीक है?
यस सर।
क्यों? कि जो जेनेटिक मटेरियल है चूहों का वो कुछ हद तक इंसानों के साथ मिलता है इस वजह से। तो जब हम चूहों को हल्दी दे रहे हैं तो उसी तरह के हल्दी का इफेक्ट इंसानों पे भी होना चाहिए ना?
नहीं सर, चूहे के खलियात अलग होते हैं और इंसान से मुख्तलिफ होते हैं इंसान, इसलिए सर उस पर ज़्यादा इफेक्ट नहीं होता, इंसान पे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट नहीं होता।
जिसमें बड़ा होता है
क्योंकि सर इंसान का जिस्म बड़ा होता है इसलिए।
हेलो, तो कंक्लूजन ये निकालेंगे अपन कि टर्मरिक हैव द सम केमिकल्स, द केमिकल्स इफेक्ट ऑन द न्यूरल डिसऑर्डर्स ऑफ द माउस, है ना? वो तो उसके डिसऑर्डर्स होते हैं न्यूरॉन्स पूरा, अपना मस्किटो अपना क्या रैट को। तो वो टर्मरिक का जो कंटेंट है, मैं बार बार बोल रहा हूँ, वो कंटेंट आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा इन फ्यूचर, एंड दैट इज टू बी योर ऑब्जेक्टिव इन द फ्यूचर, है ना? समझे? थैंक यू।
अगला प्रोजेक्ट लेके आ रही है नन्ही तालिबा, जिला परिषद उर्दू प्राइमरी स्कूल अजंता से आई है ये। इनका टॉपिक है कलर सिलेक्शन फ्रॉम हीट प्रोटेक्शन।
अस्सलामुअलैकुम, मैं मरियम अब्दुल कादिर बावजीर, मैं ज़िला परिषद मरकज़ी उर्दू प्राइमरी स्कूल अजंता से हूँ। मैं जमात तहर्रुम में पढ़ती हूँ। मेरे इस प्रोजेक्ट का उन्वान है गर्मी से बचाव के लिए रंगों का इंतखाब, कलर सिलेक्शन फॉर हीट प्रोटेक्शन। इस प्रोजेक्ट में गर्मी से बचाव के लिए रंगों का इंतखाब इस मौजू पर तहक़ीक़ की गई। तहक़ीक़ करने का मकसद ये जानना था कि क्या सचमुच डार्क रंग यानी गहरे रंग गर्मी को ऑब्जॉर्ब यानी जज्ब करते हैं और लाइट रंग गर्मी को रिफ्लेक्ट यानी मुनक्किस करते हैं। और जैसा कि आप जानते ही हैं कि ये हाइपोथेसिस है यानी मफरूज़ा है कि मुनासिब रंगों के इस्तेमाल से इंसान गर्मी के असरात को कम कर सकता है। बस इसी हाइपोथेसिस पर हमने ये सारी तहक़ीक़ की। और आप तो जानते ही हैं कि वेरिएबल्स 3 होते हैं, एक इंडिपेंडेंट, एक डिपेंडेंट और एक कंट्रोल। तो जो हमारा इंडिपेंडेंट यानी आज़ाद मुतग़य्यर था वो था मुख्तलिफ रंग के कपड़े। जो हमारा डिपेंडेंट यानी मुनहसिर मुतग़य्यर था वो था दर्जे हरारत यानी टेम्परेचर। और जो हमारे कंट्रोल वेरिएबल्स थे वो 4 थे, कपड़े की किस्म, गिलास की किस्म, पानी की मकदार, सूरज की रोशनी का वक्त और मुकाम। इस प्रोजेक्ट में हमें मटेरियल क्या क्या लगा? मुख्तलिफ रंग के कपड़े, प्लास्टिक के ग्लासेस, थर्मामीटर, नोटबुक, कलम, पानी, सूरज की रोशनी में मुशाहिदात के लिए खुली जगह यानी ओपन स्पेस फॉर गुड सनलाइट। ये प्रोजेक्ट करने का हमारा तरीक़ेकार यानी मेथड क्या था। एक ही साइज़ के प्लास्टिक के ग्लासेस लिए गए, फिर उनमें उतनी ही ml का यानी 200 ml नल का पानी यानी टैप वाटर लिया गया। फिर पहले पानी का नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर चेक किया गया, फिर मुख्तलिफ रंग के कपड़ों से उसे ढका गया। एक ग्लास को खाली छोड़ दिया गया जिस पर कोई कपड़ा न ढका गया, यानी उस ग्लास को अनरैप छोड़ दिया गया। फिर वक्फे से यानी हर एक घंटे को उनका टेम्परेचर चेक किया गया और फिर यह मुशाहिदा किया गया कि क्या सचमुच डार्क रंग गर्मी अब्जॉर्ब कर रहे हैं और लाइट रंग गर्मी रिफ्लेक्ट कर रहे हैं। इसी तरह हमने डबल लेयर का भी तजुर्बा किया, जिसमें हमने एक में काला कपड़ा ऊपर और सफ़ेद नीचे, एक में सफ़ेद ऊपर और काला नीचे था। तो जिसमें काला कपड़ा ऊपर और सफ़ेद नीचे था उसने दर्जे हरारत ज़्यादा अब्जॉर्ब किया, क्योंकि जो डार्क रंग होते हैं वो दूर से भी गर्मी को अब्जॉर्ब करते हैं। और जिसमें वाइट ऊपर और काला नीचे था उसने दर्जे हरारत कम अब्जॉर्ब किया, क्योंकि वाइट ने ऊपर ही हीट को रिफ्लेक्ट कर दिया, ब्लैक तक आने ही नहीं दिया। इसी तरह हमने कार्डबोर्ड का भी तजुर्बा किया, जिसमें हमने सेम साइज़ के कार्डबोर्ड के बॉक्सेस लिए, फिर उनके बीच में एक दायरा बनाया, एक निशान बनाया जिसमें हम ग्लासेस रखते थे ताकि ग्लासेस इधर उधर ना हो। हमारा तजुर्बा सही है। फिर हम सेंटर में ग्लासेस रखते थे। और हाँ, ये तजुर्बा हमने सिर्फ 2 कपड़ों पर ही किया, लेकिन ये तजुर्बा एकदम मुख्तलिफ आया, क्योंकि तब से आप देख रहे हैं कि जो डार्क रंग है जैसे कि काला, वो दर्जे हरारत ज़्यादा अब्जॉर्ब करता है और वाइट रंग दर्जे हरारत कम अब्जॉर्ब करता है। लेकिन ये तजुर्बा एकदम मुख्तलिफ आया। इसमें जो डार्क रंग था जैसे कि काला, उसने दर्जे हरारत कम अब्जॉर्ब किया, और जो लाइट रंग था जैसे कि सफ़ेद, उसने दर्जे हरारत ज़्यादा अब्जॉर्ब किया। इंशाअल्लाह आइंदा इस पर तहक़ीक़ करेंगे। और इस सारे प्रोजेक्ट से हमने ये नतीजा हासिल किया है कि गर्मियों के मौसम में आपको काले रंग के बुर्क़े, काली रंग की छतरियाँ और काली रंग की टोपियाँ इस्तेमाल नहीं करनी चाहिए। बेहतर होगा कि आप लाइट रंग के बुर्क़े, लाइट रंग की छतरियाँ और लाइट रंग की टोपियाँ इस्तेमाल करें। और डबल लेयर से हमने ये नतीजा हासिल किया है कि आप ऊपर वाइट और नीचे काला ये वाली छतरी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हो। ये हीट ज़्यादा अब्जॉर्ब नहीं करेंगी। थैंक यू।
आप टीवी शो पे क्यों नहीं जाते हो? आप अच्छी ओरिएटर हो सकती है ना?
थैंक यू सर।
और आपने अच्छा भी काम किया है ना? मगर नया क्या काम है? ऑलरेडी लोगों को मालूम है कि वाइट क्लोथ जो है यूज़ करना चाहिए समर वैकेशन में, इसमें है ना, या समर में। और ब्लैक जो है इट्स ऑब्जॉर्व दी मेनी लाइट्स। सो आपके रिसर्च में नया क्या है उसमें?
ये इस प्रोजेक्ट में हमने बहुत ज़्यादा तहक़ीक़ की। इसमें हमारी बहुत मेहनत है, क्योंकि हमने ये तजुर्बा जब धूप निकलती थी जब करते थे, और इससे ये नतीजा हम देना चाहते हैं लोगों को कि आप काले रंग के बुर्क़े ना पहने। अगर आप काले रंग के बुर्क़े पहनेंगे तो इससे आपको केसेस बढ़ेंगे, लू लग जाएंगे आपको धूप के।
ओके, थैंक यू।
बहुत अच्छे मरियम। नेक्स्ट प्रेजेंटेशन है वाइस इंग्लिश स्कूल से, एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ निकोटिन एसिड, विटामिन B3 and B12 फ्रॉम वेस्ट सिगरेट बट्स। वाइस इंग्लिश स्कूल।
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable chief guests, esteemed judges, respected teachers, parents, and all my brilliant participants in this competition. Today, we have presented a project, extraction of nicotinic acid from waste cigarette butts. Let's start with a question. Have you ever thought that cigarette butts are littering here and there in parks, street and road? What if I tell you that we have made something very valuable from it, like nicotinic acid, a key ingredient in pharmaceuticals and industrial uses. So, our study explores a very efficient and simple method of extracting nicotinic acid from waste cigarette butts. So, for a further explanation, I would like to call Tahura to please come and explain the hypothesis.
Assalamu alaikum everyone.
I am Tahura Nuran. So, our hypothesis is nicotinic acid, vitamin B3 or B12 from waste cigarette butts. Our hypothesis says that we can extract nicotinic acid from waste cigarette butts. From where did we got to know about it? We saw here and there, and we got to know that cigarette butts are littering here and there. And then we thought to research about it. We researched about it, and then we got to know that we can extract nicotinic acid from these waste cigarette butts. For further information, I would like to hand over mic to Anusha.
Myself Anusha Ram. Today I would like to share you the procedure of our project extraction of nicotinic acid from waste cigarette butts. First step is to collect the waste cigarette butts and remove tobacco from waste cigarette butts. Secondly, we soaked it for 24 hours in different reactants like ethanol, acetone, diethyl ether, and ethyl ether. On second day, we filtered it. After filtering, we added some basic solutions like sodium hydroxide, sodium chloride, HCl, and etc. After it, we filtered it again. Then gave a water bath around 60 to 70 degrees Celsius temperature, and the temperature of water was 100 degrees. After it, we filtered it again and checked it with litmus paper. So it was around acidic 4 to 5. So the nicotinic acid was extracted.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, myself Fatima Zohra, and now I'm going to share you the market analysis of nicotinic acid worldwide. So the market analysis of nicotinic acid worldwide is $50 to $200, and in India the market price is $3,000 to $12,000. Thank you.
So, our results. In results, the appearance of our nicotinic acid was pale yellow and it was clear. The volume of our nicotinic acid was 110 ml from solution we have extracted. Next, purity. It was some impurities were in our nicotinic acid. Further purification was needed. In pH, it was slightly acidic, 4 to 5 pH. Now, it's time for conclusion. So, I would like to hand over the mic to Fatima.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Lastly, in conclusion, I would like to say we have got 110 ml of nicotinic acid from waste cigarette butts by adding ethanol, acetone and diethyl ether. And this was very tough, but we did it. And this is a big opportunity that we are standing in front of you all, and it is very big program. So thank you so much. Thank you for listening us. Thank you for giving your precious time. Thank you.
टॉपिक है एक्सट्रैक्ट ऑफ बायोडीजल फ्रॉम स्क्रैच, वाइस इंग्लिश स्कूल.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to thank Minds in Motion Foundation for organizing this amazing science fair. It gave us a chance to show our ideas and even learn from others. So, welcome to our project, Extraction of Biodiesel from Scratch, or basically waste cooking oil, which was our main component. So, we have made our biodiesel from simple materials and methods which are available, and it is non-toxic and eco-friendly. So, can anyone say what is biodiesel? Can anyone in the audience or anyone can say what is biodiesel? Okay. So, biodiesel is a renewable fuel made from natural sources. It is a triglyceride acid. Triglyceride acid means which contain oil or which are fat contain acids. For example, animal fat, vegetable oil, algae, these contains fat or oil contain based. So, our main aim of making biodiesel was to be eco-friendly and non-toxic. Later on, my friend will tell about hypothesis.
As we all know that, while researching on something, various of questions come into our mind. Like that only, while we were researching on a topic, we got various hypotheses. And our first and the main hypothesis is that how can we extract biodiesel from scratch? And we succeeded in making biodiesel from scratch by using different reactants like algae, vegetable oil, waste cooking oil, animal fat, and vegetable fat. And can we optimize this process to make it cost efficient and environmentally friendly? And our last hypothesis is that can glycerol, the byproduct of biodiesel production, be effectively repurposed for industrial or pharmaceutical applications? So these were the few hypotheses which came across our minds. Now I will hand over the mic to my friend Zainab to proceed further.
Coming to the procedure, there are 4 main steps involved in extraction of biodiesel from various reactants. The reactants which we used are algae, waste cooking oil, butter, and vegetable oil. So the first step is pre-treatment and heating of reactants, whereas for algae we followed a different step, which is grinding and the addition of catalyst. For algae, we used hexane and caustic soda. The third step is transesterification, that is the main step. Next is settling, and the fifth is separation. In the first step, which is a pre-treatment of reactants, we melted butter, waste cooking oil, and animal fat at the temperature of 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. Whereas for algae, we grinded and added the catalyst. The next step is transesterification, or in simple words, the heating of reactants. We heated the reactants and added the catalyst. For the first attempt, we used potassium hydroxide, and for the second attempt, we used sodium hydroxide. We dissolved these catalysts into alcohols like methanol and ethanol in different attempts. The next step is settling. So we transferred our mixture into the separatory phenols and left it for 24 hours. And we got glycerin as the byproduct in this process. The glycerin got settled at the bottom due to the higher density, and the biodiesel got up due to the lower density. And for algae, we heated the mixture to separate out the oil from the mixture. The next step is separation. We separated the biodiesel from glycerol after 24 hours. Now let's draw towards the conclusion. I would like to tell Aisha to tell the conclusion.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Now I would like to conclude our presentation, and I would like to say that we have learned something from doing this project. That is, patience, resilience, and teamwork are the main emotions that are very useful to make a project successful. So I thank my team, and we are proud that we have finally succeeded after many and many attempts and failures. And I'm sure that this biodiesel that we have created, if it is refined on a professional level, that we are sure that it can fully replace the diesel fuel. Thank you very much, everyone. Any questions?
बुरहानी नेशनल उर्दू हाई स्कूल से नेक्स्ट प्रेजेंटेशन.
Assalamu alaikum, respected judges, teachers, parents, and esteemed students. We are the girls of Group 29A from Wise English School 7th Standard. First of all, I would like to thank Minds in Motion Foundation for organizing this science fair and giving us a chance to showcase our talent here. Our group consists of 5 members. This is Nashra, this is Jaza, this is Sara, this is Namra, and myself, Khadija. We are here to introduce our topic, which is extraction of citric acid from molasses. Now,
Everyone might be wondering what molasses is. It is nothing but a thick brown syrup that is separated from raw sugar in sugar factories. And why we chose this topic? You see, citric acid is widely used for. You see, we have chose this topic because citric acid is widely used in foods, industries, factories, makeup, etc. So, now to share the procedure of how we created this citric acid, now I call upon Nashra.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Now I am here to explain you our project procedure.
Please come to conclusion, please.
जी?
Conclusion, please.
Extraction of citric acid provide this process consists of molasses and fermentation with baking soda. And that's it, याद नहीं है ना. Thank you.
Can I tell? Assalamu alaikum everyone. Now I am here to explain you our project procedure. The procedure we use to extract citric acid.
Come to the conclusion. What is your conclusion of your project? That's all.
The production of citric acid from molasses typically involves the fermentation. Thank you.
Don't be discouraged. You are good. You have good work. Huh? Don't be discouraged.
Next project from Al Irfan Residential School.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today's my topic for science fair is impact of deforestation on rural livelihoods and urban livelihoods. Rural livelihoods are facing many challenges due to urbanization, industrialization, and agricultural expansion. In many rural livelihoods, deforestation led to a decline of availability of natural resources such as medicinal planting, fodder crops, etc. It also has an adverse effect in farmers' income.
Sir, as my colleague you told about the introduction of deforestation, so I will tell you about the solutions to reduce the deforestation. First, we have to plant more trees. Means for every tree that is cut, we are planning to plant 10 more trees in deforested area. And yes.
Explain only present your conclusion.
Ma'am, our actual solution to control the deforestation is we are using Arduino technology here. Our plan is that to make fences around the fire forest that someone cannot be jump in the forest, or there will be only one gate for entrance and exit. Now we have used a metal detector there that in our project that someone will enter with any axe or metal thing or wood cutter that will be detected. And our second sensor is this PIR sensor. It works by our human infrared rays. Every human extracts some infrared rays from the individual, and this sensor catch that rays and give the signal to the Arduino, and that beeps the buzzer, and there will be a display on the display. Sir, we are not audible to you.
I am interested in this topic. Can you demonstrate this now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Can.
Show me the plant.
Where?
I can.
Where?
आप इधर से आगे समझाओ.
मैम, ये जो हमारा ये सिर्फ हम फॉर प्रोजेक्ट के लिए हमने ये स्मॉल प्रोजेक्ट के लिए हमने ये इस्तेमाल किया है. इसकी रेंज अप टू 7 मीटर से मैक्सिमम, और जो गोदरेज जो पहले सर तो वहाँ पे जो हमारे बाजू में बहुत सारा डिफॉरेस्टेटेड एरिया है, तो हम वहाँ हम थोड़ी उधर रेफरेंस लिए, उधर से देखे हम उधर, और कुछ एनजीओज में भी सर हमने विजिट लिए, तो हमको मालूम पड़ा इसकी बहुत ज़रूरत है सर. और सर गवर्नमेंट इज मेकिंग द रोड्स एंड अदर्स दैट इज़ अवर नीड सर. ये भी तो अपनी नीड है सर, फॉरेस्ट को मतलब कवर करना, उसके प्रोटेक्ट करना. तो सर
यस
fire. Here you can see sir, here is motion, no motion, and when motion detected. Here you can see fire, no fire. Wait. नहीं सर,
इंजरी तो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है ना. तो यहाँ से मैं प्लांट काट रहा हूँ,
हाँ सर,
डिटेक्ट होना चाहिए.
सर हमने पहले जब मेटल एक्स से होगा सर, कोई मेटल चीज से होगा ना, वो मतलब कोई प्लास्टिक मेटल डिटेक्टर सर. लेकिन कोई इंसान ही रहेगा ना सर, तो इंसान को तो ये डिटेक्ट कर लेगा सर. मोशन तो नहीं है सर.
इवन वी आर आल्सो मेटल डिटेक्टर इन दिस.
जब ऑफ कर
सर परमिशन से जाना पड़ेगा ना फॉरेस्ट में, तो गवर्नमेंट का हिस्सा है.
थैंक यू सर.
You can go now.
Now next presentation is of Burani National Urdu High School. The title is Comparative Study of Chemical and Physical Properties of Cow Milk and Goat. The title is Comparative Studies of Chemical and Physical Properties of Cow Milk and Goat.
अस्सलामु अलैकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू. मैं बुरहानी नेशनल उर्दू हाई स्कूल का तालिब इल्म दानिश जाकिर अंबेकर. हमारी रिसर्च का जो टाइटल है अ कंपैरेटिव स्टडी ऑफ फिजिकल एंड केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ काउ मिल्क एंड गोट मिल्क. इंट्रोडक्शन इज, दूध को पूरी दुनिया में यूनिवर्सल फूड मुकम्मल ग़िज़ा समझा जाता है. दूध में नशोनुमा के लिए ज़रूरी अज्जा पाए जाते हैं. ये दोनों किस्म के दूध जो हज़ारों साल से लोग इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, गोट मिल्क एंड काउ मिल्क. इससे बेशुमार फ़ायदे जैसे प्रोटीन, फैट, कार्बोहाइड्रेट, लैक्टोज, विटामिन एंड मिनरल्स है. उसके बाद मेथड्स हमने फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज़ और फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टी और केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज़ देखा है. फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज़ में हम हमारे स्कूल के लैब में किए हैं और केमिकल प्रॉपर्टी हम महानद डेयरी के लैब में किए हैं. मटेरियल्स हमें बर्नर, टेस्ट ट्यूब, थर्मामीटर, लैक्टोमीटर, पीएच मीटर, पीएच स्ट्रिप्स लगे हैं. और उसके बाद हाइपोथेसिस. फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज़ में अपीयरेंस, टेक्सचर्स, कलर एंड शेल्फ लाइफ. और केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज़ में फैट कंटेंट और प्रोटीन और लैक्टोज लगे हैं. इसके बाद कंक्लूजन.
हमने इस रिसर्च करने के बाद हम इस नतीजे पे आए हैं कि काउ मिल्क और गोट मिल्क ये दोनों दूध में कुछ फ़र्क होता है और कुछ यकसानियत होती है, जैसे कि इनके टेस्ट, टेक्सचर और डाइजेस्टिबिलिटी में भी फ़र्क होता है. काउ मिल्क के मुकाबले गोट मिल्क जल्दी डाइजेस्ट हो जाता है क्योंकि इन दोनों के अंदर फैट ग्लोब्यूल पाए जाते हैं. काउ मिल्क के अंदर जो फैट ग्लोब्यूल पाए जाते हैं वो मोटे होते हैं और गोट मिल्क के अंदर जो फैट ग्लोब्यूल पाए जाते हैं वो छोटे होते हैं, जिसकी वजह से गोट मिल्क जल्दी डाइजेस्ट हो जाता है. हम कंज्यूमर चॉइस के हिसाब से इस रिसर्च को और आगे भी बढ़ा सकते हैं. थैंक यू.
Next presentation is of Fatima Urdu Primary School, Kirarpura. The title is Comparative Analysis of Acidic Substance on Dental Erosion.
Now next presentation is of Roots and Wings School. Thermocol made from sugarcane that will biodegrade faster than traditional thermocol.
मैं मोहम्मद यान नासिर खान फातिमा उर्दू प्राइमरी स्कूल से अफ्तुम जमात का तालिब इल्म हूँ। अस्सलामु अलैकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। मेरा तहक़ीक़ी उन्वान है दांतों के गलने पर असरात का तक़ाबली तज्ज़िया। मफरूज़ा मुख्तलिफ तेज़ाबी मादों में फास्फोरिक एसिड के दांतों की इनेमल की सतह को नुकसान पहुँचाता है और दांतों के गलने का सबब बनता है। खुलासा दांत निज़ाम इंहिज़ाम में अहम किरदार अदा करते हैं और दर्ज झेल अफ़आल अंजाम देते हैं। मैकेनिकी तोड़ फोड़ दांत खुराक को छोटे ज़र्रात में तोड़ते हैं जिससे इंजाइम्स को असर करने के लिए सतही रकबा बढ़ जाता है। चबाना दांत खुराक को कुचलते और चबाते हैं और इसे लुआब के साथ मिला देते हैं। दांत खुराक के मैकेनिकी अमल के लिए ज़रूरी है और इसे लुआब के साथ मिला देते हैं। दांतों का एनेमल दांत के ऊपरी ताज बैरूनी तह होती है और ये जिस्म का सबसे सख्त टिश्यू है और ये वज़न के लिहाज से 96% कैल्शियम हेप्टाइड, 3% पानी और 1% से कम नामियाती मवाद पर मुश्तमिल है। दांतों के गलने का अमल इस वक्त होता है जब तेज़ाब दांतों की इनेमल की सतह को नुकसान पहुंचाता है। ज़्यादा लोग ठंडे मशरूबात पीकर प्यास बुझाने और भारी खुराक के बाद हाजमे में मदद लेते हैं, लेकिन इन मशरूबात का ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल हमारे दांतों को नुकसान पहुंचा सकता है। सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक्स में सबसे आम एसिड सिट्रिक एसिड और फास्फोरिक एसिड शामिल होते हैं, लेकिन फास्फोरिक एसिड H3PO4 ज़्यादा नुकसानदा है। लिहाजा इन नुकसानदा मशरूबात को पीना बंद करें ताकि अपने दांतों को बचाया जा सके। सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक्स में नहीं
तारुफ इंसानी जिस्म में दांतों का अहम रोल। दांत बोलते ही आप सफ़ेद और मजबूत दांतों का तस्वुर करते हैं। दांतों की साख सख्त मजबूत होती है। दांतों का शुमार हड्डियों में होता है। दांतों में 96% कैल्शियम होता है, यानी 100% का 96% कैल्शियम दांतों में होता है। अक्सर हम दांतों का ख्याल नहीं रखते। पैदा होने के बाद 2 साल तक दांत आते हैं। इनकी तादाद 32 है। फिर 7 साल की उम्र में ये कुदरती तौर पर गिरने लगते हैं। फिर नए दांत आते हैं। ये दांत आने के बाद से गिरने पर नए दांत नहीं आते। तो आए आज हम दांतों पर असरअंदाज होने वाली चीज़ों की मालूमात आपके सामने पेश करेंगे। आपने सुना है कि चॉकलेट खाने से दांत खराब होते हैं, लेकिन कभी आपने सोचा है हम जो रोज़मर्रा मशरूबात में कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स का इस्तेमाल करते हैं उनसे दांतों पर क्या असर होता है? दांतों का इनेमल की तहकीजीज होती है। नतीजा हर मशरूब महलूल में सिट्रिक एसिड की मिकदार ज़्यादा पाई गई है। सिट्रिक एसिड से मसौड़ों को नुकसान हो सकता है। सिट्रिक एसिड की वजह से दांत पर मौजूद इनेमल की जीज होती है। सिट्रिक एसिड की वजह से माइग्रेन या सरदर्द होता है। कंक्लूजन इन तमाम तजुर्बात ने कुदरती दांतों पर तेज़ाबी ठंडे मशरूबात की जीज के असरात को जाहिर किया। नतीजे से मालूम हुआ कि इन तमाम मशरूबात ने दांतों पर नुमाया जीज के असरात को जाहिर किया। शुक्रिया।
Next presentation from Roots and Wings Academy. The title is Thermocol made from sugarcane that will biodegrade faster than traditional thermocol. Roots and Wings Academy.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. We present a revolutionary approach to combating environmental pollution caused by traditional expanded polystyrene, commonly known as thermocol. This study aims to create an eco-friendly thermocol using sugarcane, aloe vera gel and many more natural ingredients. This innovation will reduce waste and create a path to a sustainable insulator and a packaging material. You would think why we choose sugarcane as a key ingredient. Sugarcane is a renewable byproduct of agriculture which make it more cost effective and sustainable. Though our four experiment we optimized to create a lightweighted biodegradable material. The challenging part was heating, baking and molding. Our experiment 1 formed like a soft cardboard structure. Our experiment 2 was over dried and formed a thick dough. Our experiment 3 became powder. And our experiment 4, where the second we pulled it out from the mold, it broke into pieces.
Please come to the conclusion, please. Come to the conclusion.
Sorry, sir, we cannot.
Please come to the conclusion.
Sir, we will likely we are not doing the time pass from 8:30 for only to give the conclusion. We will show all full the research or not.
I accept your request, but the 20 students are remained. है ना? Second things, I understand the abstract and the methodology. है ना? So that's why I request you, please come to the conclusion. Okay? If you still interested to give the presentations, so you can continue.
Okay, sir.
Make it short.
Then we thought that sugarcane is not suitable for the thermocol. Then we shifted to rice husk. We created 6 samples with rice husk. 2 we baked, 1 we kept in the sunlight for 24 hours, and 3 we let it in the room temperature. It was the problem with the rice husk was it was not getting the lightweight like a thermocol. In conclusion, all the experiments didn't work, but this project gives us the insight for the challenges to use natural ingredients. This will ignite the fire in the researchers that we can use alternatives instead of some harmful thermocol. Thank you.
Shall I ask questions? So do you compare your product and thermocol? What are the properties of the thermocol?
Thermocol is flexible, light-weighted, and it is mostly used in packaging and
वही
insulation.
मैं पूछ रहा हूँ कि आपका जो प्रोडक्ट है, आपने जो भी डिफरेंट सैंपल आपने लिया है, उसका कंपैरेटिव एनालिसिस थर्मोकोल से किया है क्या?
Yes, sir.
फिर क्या लगता है आपको, आपका प्रोडक्ट अच्छा है या रीडिफाइन करना पड़ता है?
It is defected, means the rice husk
आपको रीडिफाइन करना पड़ेगा या आपका प्रोडक्ट जो है इट इज अ कॉम्पीट टू द थर्मोकोल?
Sir, we have not come to the final product. They are like
इट्स रिक्वायर्ड द रीडिफाइन, है ना?
Yes.
सो गो फॉर द रीडिफाइन, है ना? थैंक यू वेरी मच. थैंक यू.
Next presentation from Roots and Wings Academy. Perifluid composed of magnetic particles can be used to bind and remove specific toxins from blood under the influence of electromagnetic field, providing a novel detoxification therapy.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum and good morning everyone. Good evening everyone. I am Mohammad Ruhab Alam.
I am Affan Bey.
We were previously researching on the topic arsenic detoxification using electromagnets. We got this idea that arsenic attracts to magnet and it's been a global concern. Arsenic poisoning is caused due to drinking of contaminated water near the mining sites.
Arsenic has been known as a potent poison. Medievally, it was used by assassination. Let's turn towards modern time. In modern times, it was used in mining, manufacturing, and farming.
The traditional cure for the arsenic poisoning is that using chelation therapy. Chelation therapy has long-term side effects that includes low blood pressure and destroying the body's chemistry. But our method is different. We hypothesize that electromagnets can be used for detoxification of arsenic poisoning. The first methodology we have done that we took a Wistar cat, Rattus novaceus, and we injected the desirable amount of the arsenic poison into the rat. We waited for the symptoms to come. After the symptom came, we took a hemodialysis of the rat. We placed a heavy electromagnet DIY made from a microwave transformer onto its tube. We integrated a canal from there, and the metal toxic waste from the blood, it came through the canal, and the metal toxic waste were differ from the direct blood. our expected outcomes would be the lessening of the arsenic content in the blood and the symptoms to cool down. Yes, sir. Any questions?
As you conclude?
Sir, we can conclude that the arsenic levels in the blood will decrease, and inshallah the levels, the symptoms seen in the rat would gradually decrease.
So have you performed dialysis on the rat?
Yes, sir. We were binded by the permissions.
From which permission taken from?
Sir, we were not able to handle the arsenic poison because.
So did you take the permission from CPCSC?
No, sir. Yes, sir. That only binded us.
Okay.
We were not able to do that, and we were not able to handle the arsenic.
Is there any alternative you can check arsenic toxicity? That you can use simulation technique?
Yes, sir. We tried, but due to time.
So by that you can reduce the animal pain. Okay?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you take the animal ethic committee permission too?
No, sir.
No?
Sir, we just did
Take
it
the
theoretically.
CPCSC permission.
Yes,
so
sir,
do you have approval letter?
No, sir.
No?
We don't. Sir, but if you.
She said he performed hemodialysis and dialysis on the animals. Yeah.
Yes.
They have performed.
But
Yeah.
I have your surety that if you give us one day and the permissions will be cleared.
It
so
is not so easy that you get a permission in a one day. You have
Yes.
to present this in front of CPSC.
Yes.
Is a committee which is look after the pain to look after the
Lab rats.
research lab animals. Okay, so this is not a possible. So before conducting any experiment, you have to take a government permissions. Okay, then conduct the studies. I will suggest you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, if we get time and the permissions would be clear, I have a guarantee that we can do it in a day, in a single day.
In the next year you can do.
Yes, sir.
But before doing any research, check out which are the procedures you have to follow.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Then conduct it.
Yes, sir. We were previously seeing that the arsenic is a global health concern also, and also it is attractable to magnet. Why couldn't we use an electromagnet, a heavy one, to just suck it out of the blood? We came over the dialysis idea.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
In
Thank
conclusion, we can think of that the arsenic level will decrease gradually.
Anything can be done. Your hypothesis can be proved, but you should know the government rules
Yes, sir.
before conducting any animal studies. Okay?
Yes.
So that you can conduct a clinical trial further. Okay? Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Any questions now?
No, sir.
No? Thank you. Bye.
Next presentation from Roots and Wings Academy. Topic is magnetic force can be effectively applied in vehicles to repel other approaching vehicles at a safe distance, reducing the likelihood of collisions.
How can magnetic forces be utilized as a collision prevention mechanism in vehicles? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Muhammad Abdul.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Muhammad Aman.
And we are representing Roots and Wings Academy. We hypothesize that electromagnets can be utilized as a collision prevention mechanism in vehicles to update the road safety.
As we present our project on an innovative approach to vehicle safety, a magnetic force-based collision prevention system, this project aims to explore how electromagnets can be used to prevent collisions between vehicles by generating repulsive magnetic forces, offering a non-contact safety mechanism to reduce accidents.
To test this idea, we have designed 3 prototypes using toy vehicle cars and neodymium magnets. Design 1, 2, the magnets on the front and back. The design has generated repulsive forces but had limited success in preventing side collision. Design 2, 3 magnets on the front and 2 magnets at the back. The design has improved on the first but has limited success in preventing the doors collision.
Design 3, magnets on all sides, front, back and both the doors of each vehicle. This was the most effective configuration, providing protection from multiple angles. The repulsive force was measured at 5 to 7 newtons when the vehicles were 20-30 centimeter apart. This was sufficient to demonstrate the feasibility of the concept at the prototype stage.
However, as we use toy vehicles and neodymium magnets, our theoretical background said that we have to apply sensors on the bumpers of the cars which can detect the cars from a distance of 10 feet. After detecting the cars, the sensors will keep on measuring the distance. If the distance keep flowing, they will power the electromagnet according to the speed. The sensors that can be used will be ultrasonic wave sensors and ADAS braking system sensors.
Challenges. Key challenges include the limited range of the magnetic force, sensitivity to environmental factors, and the complexity of integrating electromagnets into actual vehicle designs.
In conclusion, this project presents an innovative approach to vehicle safety by using electromagnets to repel the vehicles. We could develop a non-contact force collision prevention system, while the prototype explained the concept's viability. Further research and development are essential to make this prototype a practical. Jazakallahu khair.
Good evening, students.
Good evening.
Do you prepared any model for this, or this is only a theoretical idea?
Yes, we have prepared a model using permanent magnets.
Okay.
The next project from Roots and Wings Academy. Enhancing energy efficiency and sustainability using parabolic solar energy system in decentralized facilities.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good evening to all respected judges, teachers and my fellow students. Have you ever imagined solving energy challenges with the simplicity of sunlight? I am Askar Khan from Roots and Wings Academy, and today I am thrilled to represent my project on enhancing energy efficiency and sustainability using parabolic solar energy systems in decentralized facilities. As the world battles climate change and rising energy demands, renewable energy is crucial. Our project harnesses sunlight to provide natural light and heat energy for homes, reducing energy consumption and reliance on fossil fuels. Our system uses a parabolic solar dish, a glass containing saline water, and fiber optic cables, and a heat energy engine.
So it has improved on the first, but still it is not protected from those.
Preliminary observations show promising results,
It is successful.
and we hope to reduce with efficient energy consumption, heat retention, light transmission, and electricity generation. Thank you. We conclude that I have tried many experiments, but we couldn't do it. So in future scope, we plan to do it.
Hello. Yeah, I understand your topic and it's very interesting. I found one research that I work in the Satpura Range forest at Jalgaon district. It's a Raver, that is a pal. So it's a dense forest of the wild varieties of Moringa. And that tribal peoples of that community, that is a Paura and Tadvi. There are two communities stay in that forest. That is a pal. And they are regularly the powder of the leaf used for to control the waterborne diseases. And from ancestors. And last 1996, the London of the research centers, they express their results. So moringa leaves to control the waterborne diseases. The same here, you are working on the moringa oleifera helps to repelling mosquitoes. But as per my knowledge, there is no repellent activity in the moringa leaves. The repellent activity found in the leaf, it requires the aromatic oil. It requires the aromatic oil, means the aromatic oil is present in the aromatic plants. That is a mogra, jasmine, citronella, rosea, and many things. And this plant is not an aromatic plant. So how you can say that there is a phytochemicals of moringa oleifera repellent the mosquitoes? है ना? So that's my question. है ना? So you come to the point. है ना? Okay? Do you understand my question? Oh.
So when we tested the crude extract on the students, so there were all the phytochemicals present in the crude extract, but it was working. But when we added rose water and aloe vera, so a new compound has been formed, and it was working more nicer as compared to crude extract.
So that is not a result of the moringa. That is a result of rose and other plant aloe vera.
Yeah.
है ना? So aloe vera have the aroma and the rose have the aroma to control the repellent activity of the berry. That is not activity of moringa. I think so. Huh? So please check the results, है ना? And let me know in the future. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye. Take care.
A presentation from Roots and Wings Academy. Topic is extracts from cluster fig poses, compounds that may help alleviate symptoms of jaundice, support weight loss, and assist in blood sugar regulation, making it potential natural treatment for these conditions.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we will discuss our research on a natural remedy to address jaundice and diabetes, major global health challenges. Our primary focus is Ficus responsa, renowned for its antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and hepatoprotective properties. To enhance its efficacy, we have combined it with tulsi, Ocimum tenuiflorum, beetroot, Beta vulgaris, lemon, citrus lemon, and dragon fruit, Hylocereus polarisis. This formulation targets liver detoxification and blood glucose regulation, providing a holistic approach to treatment.
The additional ingredients amplify its effects. Tulsi protects liver cells and regulates glucose. Lemon aids bilirubin elimination. Beetroot detoxifies the liver and reduces fat accumulation. Dragon fruit enhances insulin sensitivity. As a result, we get consist paste. After staining, it converted into a syrup to evaluate on liver enzymes, bilirubin, and blood sugar levels.
Preliminary results shown potential in alleviating jaundice and diabetes symptoms by targeting their root causes. This natural cause-effective formulation offers a promising alternative for underserved population. Further studies will validate its efficacy and safety, paving the way for its use in mainstream medicine. In conclusion, Ficus responsa and our synergistic formulation represent a step towards the innovation in plant-based treatment for these chronic conditions. Thank you.
Hello. How did you check the blood regulations, blood sugar regulations? How did you check?
We checked it through a test.
Which test?
It was a blood test.
Blood test, you have checked blood tests?
Yes.
Okay, and fasting and posting both?
Fasting sugar.
And post meal or random?
Sorry?
फास्टिंग और पोस्ट मील और रैंडम कब किया शुगर टेस्ट आपने?
3 टाइप की शुगर टेस्टिंग होती है, फास्टिंग, पोस्टिंग, रैंडम।
फास्टिंग 1।
फास्टिंग बस, और फिर उसके बाद खिलाने के बाद नहीं किया?
ऑलरेडी कंट्रोल में रहती फास्टिंग में। फास्टिंग में कंट्रोल में रहती बेटा।
हाँ,
बोलो बेटा।
सो जो रिसर्च आपने
Sir, our research is in progress. We didn't completed our research.
It's not complete. Okay.
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next research presentation from Roots and Wings Academy. Topic is modifying the fan's blade shape can improve its air circulation efficiency while integrating a battery backup system can ensure continuous operating during power outages.
Good evening, everyone. Imagine a sweat-tearing summer day when the power goes out. The fan that keeps you cool turns off. The air becomes thick. And the heat becomes unbearable. There's no sight of relief. Now, think of the people in rural areas where power outages last for hours and even days. This isn't just an occasional inconvenience, but a daily struggle. This is a problem we set out to solve. How can we ensure fans running during power outages, especially in areas where backup options like inverters or generators are simply not affordable? Our research is a step towards making cooling systems not just more reliable, but also energy efficient and accessible to everyone. Fans are essential for ventilation in homes, workplaces, and factories, but power outages make them useless, leaving people uncomfortable. This inspired us to ask a simple but an impactful question: how can we keep fans running during power cuts while improving their efficiency? Our original idea was bold. We envisioned a fan powered by wind energy, where a specially designed blade would charge the lithium-ion battery, and then the battery would power the fan during power outages. But due to time constraint and limited resources, we had to shift our focus. We developed a rechargeable fan, integrating two key innovations. Number one, lithium-ion batteries to provide uninterrupted power backup. Number two, curved fan blades to increase airflow and energy efficiency. During testing, we discovered some important lessons. The curved blades performed exceptionally well, improving airflow by reducing turbulence. This design also made the fans more energy efficient. However, the 775 DC motor could not handle the pressure of a 9 ampere lithium-ion battery. Initially, the fan ran for about 15 minutes and then stopped. The motor overheated and broke down. To conclude, while our prototype wasn't flawless, this project represents an important step towards solving a real-world issue. It underscores the power of innovation, testing and iterative design in addressing challenges that impact millions of lives. Now, imagine a future where fans keep spinning even during power outages, providing comfort, saving energy and transforming life. Isn't this vision worth pursuing?
Next presentation from Roots and Wings Academy. Topic is fungal skin disorders and their elevation using Deloxyregia extract. From Roots and Wings Academy. Next presentation from Roots and Wings Academy. Topic is fungal skin disorders and their elevation using Deloxyregia extract. From Roots and Wings Academy.
My name is Sayyada Ummehani and my topic is fungal skin disorder and their elevation using Delonix regia extract. Fungal skin disorder caused by dermaphyte yeast and molds represent a significant health concern affecting millions of people worldwide. This infection often results in symptoms like itching, redness, scaling, and in some cases leads to chronic condition if left untreated. Conventional antifungal treatments, while effective, often comes with adverse side effects, drug resistance, and high treatment cost. As a result, there is an increasing interest in exploring natural alternative for treating such condition. Delonix regia, a topical plant known for its antimicrobial, antioxidant, and anti-inflammatory activities, has gathered attention as a potential treatment for treating such conditions. This study irrigates the existing data on fungal infection and evaluating the therapeutic potential of Delonix regia. Methodology: we have first isolated the plant, then authenticated the plant by HOD of Botany, Maulana Azad College. Then we have washed leaves, commonly known as gulmohar. Then we have washed the leaves and air dried them and powdered them for extraction. Using Soxhlet extraction method, we have got concentrated extract of Delonix regia with solvent methanol. Then we let evaporate the methanol, and we have tested the extract on fungi. We have grown the fungi and tested it using agar-well diffusion method, and there was a decrease in fungi after applying the gel extract. In conclusion, we can say that Delonix regia is effective and safe as a natural alternative for treating such condition. In future, we will investigate it on humans and animals.
Best of luck for your clinical trials. For the same. No, man, no questions.
So, while making this ointment, what base you have used? Gel or this ointment? What base you have used for making this gel?
Xanthan.
Xanthan. Okay. You said that you have used it against certain fungus like the Candida albicans or some other species of Candida, which causes the candidiasis. So, at that moment, have you compared your study with any antifungal agents?
No, comparative study is going on. We will do it in future.
Okay. So, what kind of diseases or the dermatological diseases you noticed with your Delonix regia extract?
Which can treat them?
What diseases you have worked on with this Delonix regia extract?
Candida, dermaphytes, and molds and fungi.
Okay. So you haven't identified the fungus which are causing these skin diseases?
Yes.
Okay.
Next presentation from Roots and Wings Academy. Eco-friendly 3D printing filament from corn starch and recycled paper waste. Roots and Wings Academy.
Good evening everyone. I am Aisha Deen from grade 9 Roots and Wings Academy. Today I will discuss an innovative idea of creating 3D printing filament from cornstarch and paper pulp. A widely available material and cheap and biodegradable. As 3D printing is a rapidly advancing technology that uses plastic filaments. But our research aims of creating an 3D printing filament from cornstarch.
So, sir, basically we have tried our best, but due to some issues that we tackled, so we were not able to give it like a full 3D texture. We have failed a bit. But because we had some responsibilities of our school, exams and all, it was like a big challenge for us. So because of that, we were not able to give it like a proper shape, texture and feeling. But still we hope that in future, we'll get the promising results. Thank you. Ma'am, sir, if you have any questions, you may ask.
Next presentation from Roots and Wings Academy. Can phytochemical present in Tridex procumbens help in skin detaining?
Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, everyone. Have you ever thought that a roadside herb could provide a natural solution for skincare? Today, we Aska Khan and Inshira Mastan are delighted to present our research on can Tridex Procumens help in skin detanning?
Last year, our students and teachers were facing a major problem, which was skin tanning. And majorly, all the products which you find in the market are either too expensive or either they have a side effect. So we thought of making our own product, which would be cost efficient and which won't have any side effect. So we got to know about a magical herb, which was Tridax procumens, commonly known as Tantene ka patta or Zakhme Hayat.
Our research involved 3 steps. Number 1 was the extraction of the bioactive compounds. We used the Soxhlet extraction method to extract the phytochemicals out of its leaves, which used ethanol to get the potent compounds such as flavonoids and vitamin E. Number 2, testing. The GCMS analysis and testing on 20 volunteers confirmed that our product can help in skin detanning. In the GCMS analysis report, we found that there were several components present in Tridax procumens extract which are helping us in the reduction of skin detanning. The components were flavonoids, saponins, vitamin E, and palmitic acid. We used our crude extract to make our soap formulation. Thank you.
Tridax procumens for detanning the skin. Can it be used as protect itself from the sun burning or as a sunscreen lotion?
Yes, Tridax procumens has already been proven to reduce the oxidative stress and reduce sunburns and redness caused by the UV exposure.
Okay. So, did you check the SPF factor of that product which you have made with the Tridax procumens?
No, not yet, sir. We will definitely do it later.
Okay, fine.
Next presentation from Roots and Wings Academy. A comparative and qualitative analysis of Godavari fish compost versus commercial vermicompost on plants. From Roots and Wings Academy.
Good evening. Have you ever did you know that fish waste, something often discarded, could help the world revolutionize sustainable farming? What if we could outperform the best known organic fertilizer like vermicompost? My name is Khazi Muhtashim, and we hypothesize that the plant which receives Godavari compost grows faster and taller than the plant which receives vermicompost from the market. We embark on this exciting journey to compare Godavari fish compost and the vermicompost and the vermicompost to see which one promotes better plant growth. As the increasing demand for food, it is essential to find a cost-effective and sustainable fertilizer for the farmers and the environment. Our goal was simple, to compare the Godavari fish waste and the vermicompost on 3 different types of plants, okra, spinach and fenugreek, and also understand how different environment, open and closed, would affect their growth, and determine if fish compost can be a superior alternative for vermicompost. We conducted our experiment on 4 different groups. Group 1, 2, 3 were treated with fish compost with different compositions, and group 4 was treated with vermicompost. Seeds were sowed in identically same condition, and pK tests were conducted on both soil and the compost. Plant height, leaf growth and overall health was monitored over 20 days. After that, we got the result that in open environment, our group 3 fish compost excelled, especially with okra at 11.3 centimeters and spinach at 5.1 centimeter. In control environment, our group 1 fish compost showed us 18.7 centimeters growth and 10.3 centimeters spinach, outperforming the vermicompost. Fish compost consistently delivered higher nutritional value. Nitrogen at 1,731 kilograms per hectare and potassium at 1,597 kilograms per hectare. And versus vermicompost gave us 0.51 to 1.61 kilogram per hectare nitrogen and potassium at 0.15 to 0.73 kilograms per hectare. But why fish compost? Nutrition rich, packed with essential NPK nutrients, cost effective, accessible for small scale farmers with little to expense, and converts fish waste into a valuable resource with reducing environmental harm. Our research highlights that the Godavari fish compost can be a game changer for sustainable farming. In controlled environment, it significantly outperforms vermicompost in promoting growth. Its performance in open environment showed adaptability to the natural conditions. This project opens the door for the further explorations in fish compost, benefiting across various crops and environment, making agriculture greener and more affordable. So next time you think fish compost as just a waste, remember that it might just be the fertilizer that would help feed the world. Thank you, sir.
I have many questions, but time is very short. So I have only one question that will be very important. All the parameters you collected and it is mentioned here, it is only theoretical. It is not a significant values or the numbers not seen in your PPT. The values is very important. You are saying the fish is a very competent in compared to the vermicompost. So it required the crop, which crop you taken, where you taking the trials, that it varies. So I have one suggestion. There is no doubt, but we can conclude that fish can be used for the vermicompost. Same. But in the next objective of your work, you can continue this work. You can take one crop, continuous for the Kharif season or the Rabi season. And you can compare with the control also. So the study will be a significant or valuable instead of the theoretical. Thank you very much. Take care.
Next presentation from Burhani National School. Spilling of boiling milk can be prevented with a wooden spoon.
अस्सलामुअलैकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। मैं सैयदा शमाइल-ए-दीन और ये मेरे साथी।
मैं वजीहा फातिमा।
मैं ताबिया बिनिश। मैं अरीबा फातिमा। हम जमात नहुम के तालिबात हैं। हम आपके सामने पौधों की नशोनुमा पर मुख्तलिफ रंगों का असर इस तजुर्बे को पेश करने जा रहे हैं। मुख्तलिफ रंगों की रोशनी पौधों की नशोनुमा पर कैसे असरअंदाज होती है? पौधों का रंग कौन सा साबित होता है? क्या सब्ज रोशनी पौधों की फोटोसिंथेसिस पर असर डालती है? अगर हाँ तो कैसे?
क्या तमाम पौधे मुख्तलिफ रंगों के असरात पर यकसा रद्द-ए-अमल देते हैं?
क्या पौधों की अक़साम के मुताबिक रंगों का असर मुख्तलिफ हो सकता है? आइए देखते हैं। हमने तजुर्बे के लिए यकसा जसामत के पौधे जैसे चना, मटर, पुदीना, चीनी गुलाब को 5 अलग अलग गमलों में लगाया। इनमें से 4 गमलों को अलग अलग बल्ब की रोशनी के डब्बों में बंद करके तकरीबन 16 दिनों के लिए रखा और एक गमले को मुकम्मल सूरज की रोशनी में रखा गया। रोज़ाना हम इन गमलों की यकसा देखभाल करते रहे। हर वक्त इनको यकसा पानी देते रहे। हमने हरा, नीला, पीला रंग इसलिए इस्तेमाल किया क्योंकि सूरज का रंग बज़ाहिर सफ़ेद है, मगर ये इन 7 रंगों लाल, नारंगी, हरा, नीला, पीला, गहरा नीला, जामुनी से बनी है। खौसे ख़ज़ा के इस मज़हर को समझने के लिए हम न्यूटन के डिस्क प्लेस का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, जिससे ये बात वाज़ेह होती है कि सूरज की रोशनी सफ़ेद तो है, लेकिन ये मुख्तलिफ रंगों का मजमुआ है। इस तजुर्बे का मकसद और ज़रूरत इसलिए भी अहम है क्योंकि ज़मीन पर कुछ ऐसे इलाके भी हैं जहाँ पर सूरज की रोशनी नहीं पहुँच पाती।
कई इलाकों में बहुत ज़्यादा बारिश होती है, कई इलाकों में बहुत ज़्यादा बर्फ़ होती है, जहाँ पर पौधों को मुकम्मल सूरज की रोशनी नहीं मिल पाती। इस वजह से पौधों की मुकम्मल देखभाल के लिए, सब्जियों की मुकम्मल देखभाल के लिए ये तजुर्बा कारआमद साबित हो सकता है।
आइए नतीजा देखते हैं। नीला रंग, नीले रंग के डब्बे में चना, मटर और पुदीने की बेहतर नशोनुमा हुई।
हरा रंग, हरे रंग के डब्बे में चीनी गुलाब की सबसे ज़्यादा नशोनुमा हुई। पीला रंग, पीले रंग के डब्बे में तमाम पौधों की अफजाइश बहुत कम थी।
लाल रंग, लाल रंग के डब्बे में तमाम पौधों की अफजाइश बेहतर हुई।
सूरज की रोशनी, सूरज की रोशनी में रखे हुए तमाम पौधों की नशोनुमा बहुत बेहतर हुई। तमाम पौधों की लंबाई कम थी मगर उनकी अफजाइश दीगर के मुकाबले में बेहतर हुई। तमाम पौधों के पत्तों का रंग भी गहरा था। नीले रंग के डब्बे में भी तमाम पौधों की अफजाइश बेहतर हुई, पीला, हरा, लाल के मुकाबले में। जज़ाकल्लाह।
रूट्स एंड विंग्स एकेडमी की तरफ से कंपैरेटिव एनालिसिस इन द क्वालिटी ऑफ टैप वाटर एंड ग्राउंड वाटर in terms of physical, chemical and biological parameters.
Do you know what's in the glass of water? Is it as safe and clean as it seems? Today, we are here to explore an essential resource, water. Our study dives deep into the quality of tap water and groundwater in Aurangabad, Maharashtra, with urbanization and pollution on the rise. The question isn't about access to water. It's about its safety. We collected and analyzed 40 samples from 40 localities in Aurangabad, forming a radius of 5 kilometers to understand their physical, chemical and biological parameters. So, are you excited to know what are our key findings? On chemical parameters, we have checked pH levels, TDS and hardness. First, pH levels. In all the localities, tap water mostly adhered to safe pH levels between 6.5 to 8.5. But some samples showed alarming peaks at 11, suggesting possible contaminations. Groundwater was exhibited more variability, with some readings indicating chemical leaching from the soil. Second, TDS, total dissolved solids. Tap water ranged from 175 ppm to a staggering of 7,500 ppm, exceeding WHO's safe limit of 500 ppm in several samples. Groundwater was relatively consistent but often surpassed permissible levels. Third, hardness. Tap water was hard, but levels up to 940 ppm. Groundwater was exhibited more variability, peaking at 1063 ppm. This is linked to a natural dissolution of minerals like calcium and magnesium in aquifers.
Scientific observations. Tap water benefits from municipal treatment, but infrastructure issues lead to the inconsistencies, particularly in TDS level. Groundwater, naturally filtered, is vulnerable to contamination, making it less reliable without proper treatment. Poor water quality affects health, causing conditions like kidney stones and waterborne diseases. The data highlights the urgent need for sustainable water management and community awareness. So, are you excited to listen to our suggestions? Number 1. Strengthen municipal water infrastructure to ensure consistent tap water quality. Number 2, promote regular testing and monitoring of groundwater for both chemical and biological contaminants. Number 3, educate communities about filtration and safe water practices. In conclusion, our study emphasizes that while tap water is generally safer, neither source is universally reliable without proper treatment. By addressing these issues, we can secure safe and clean water for future generations. So, what's your next step? Knowledge or risk? Thank you. Any questions?
Burhani National School.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are from Burhani National English High School from 8th standard. Our topic, our physical scientific experiment topic is spilling of boiling milk can be prevented with a wooden spoon. This interesting topic idea comes from our home because recently I saw my mother that she boiling the milk and then suddenly the milk comes up and spills. So I observing that and thinking how we can prevent it and what is its solutions. For giving these answers, how is it possible? Zaina will give the answers of this.
For finding its answer, we have done an experiment in our school as well as at our homes. So we have understood that wood is a insulator that cannot absorb heat well. That's why the milk spills out from the utensil in which the milk is boiling.
Material we have used in our experiment are milk, a pot of milk, a wooden spoon, a straw or heat source. Thermometer is optional.
The procedure. First, Yes?
Why don't you try to different types of the wood, means teak, tamarind and other things. So you can identify the best wood to control the spill. है ना?
Yes.
है ना? That can be possible for the future work. है ना?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Good
Thank
work.
you.
Okay?
Any question?
No question.
Jazakallah.
Okay. Bye. Take care.
Good evening, everyone. What if the nature provide us with a natural mosquito repellent that protect our skin and environment from the mosquitoes? Our research explores the potential of Moringa oleifera as a mosquito repellent. Chemical repellents are effective but often contain harmful chemicals that affect our skin and environment. We are going to make a safer alternative for it. We are using some bioactive compound from Moringa oleifera to make this repellent.
We begin by collecting air-drying moringa leaves to preserve their bioactive compounds. Using Soxhlet extraction setup, we proceed with 155 grams of leaves over 12 cycles with methanol as a solvent. This method efficiently extracted all the phytochemicals and proceed with a crude extract. Then we combine this extract with Carbopol 940, a safe gelling agent, to give us a smooth and stable mosquito repelling gel.
GCMS test results. Gas chromatography mass spectrometry confirmed the presence of key bioactive compounds such as vitamin C. Our project aimed to make a safe natural mosquito repellent.
We have planned to use advanced techniques like thin layer chromatography and fractionation to isolate active compounds, refining our formulation for improved mosquito repellency. Moringa is not just a plant, it's a natural shield against mosquitoes. While our research continues, we are confident that this eco-friendly solution can revolutionize mosquitoes control. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.
आपको मैं जब बीएससी फर्स्ट ईयर में था एग्रीकल्चर में था हमारे तो इन द नांदेड़ आई एम बेसिकली फ्रॉम नांदेड़ है ना सो एट दैट टाइम द पार्थिनियम जो है पार्थिनियम मालूम है आपको पार्थिनियम कांग्रेस घास बोलते हैं उसको कांग्रेस घास मालूम है यू कैन सी द पिक्चर्स इन द गूगल पार्थिनियम तो इट्स अ वीड है ना सो इट इज अ वेरी dangerous weed. It cannot be controlled है ना because have the more seeds in the flower है ना so the eradication is a problem at that time so and the farmers and the entomologists and many the students they are very much worried because it could not control the Parthenium. And जैसे आपने मोरिंगा के लिया, एक्सट्रैक्ट निकाला, बाद में मस्कीटो का लिया, तो उसके पीछे जो है ना, कौन सा भी जब हाइपोथेसिस लेते हैं, कुछ भी लेते हैं, तो it have the some basic study on that. You must study about the mosquitoes at a पूरा total system, है ना, उसका digestive system कैसा है, उसका nervous system कैसा है, उसके एंटेना काम कैसे करते हैं, हाउ दे सेंस, विच दे सेंस, बहुत सारा प्रैक्टिकल्स है ना. तो पार्थिनियम के बारे में जब मैंने देखा है तो एक आर्टिकल लिखा था, पार्थिनियम सेज आई एम नॉट सो बैड, है ना, और उसका एक्सट्रैक्ट निकाल के आई यूज फॉर द मस्किटो रिपेलेंट, बट द फैक्ट द पार्थिनियम हैव द मेनी एलर्जेंस, है ना, so it can be a reaction to the body of the human, है ना, so that be the critical problem, है ना. So in the further study you can do the moringa, you can take the various samples of the moringa, or you can collect the various samples from the Marathwada and the MP and other things, and the combination of the aromatic oils plus moringa to control the mosquitoes. We discussed it, and I will give the already notes. You can discuss with the mentor, and if any problem, you can come to the MGM. Okay? Bye. Take care. Have a nice journey in the future.